Okay, on this question, we want to find the HCF and LCM. So before we can do HCF and LCM, we need to do one thing that's called prime factorization. So what is prime factorization? Okay, it's a big name. Basically what it means is that you basically break up the numbers 15 and 40 into prime factors. Now what are prime factors? Prime factors are numbers, simple numbers like 2, 3, 5, 7, okay, 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 23, oh sorry, there's still a 19. Okay, now if you look at these numbers, right, these are called prime numbers. These numbers cannot be broken down anymore, right? Like 2. There is no two numbers that multiply to become 2. Okay, 1 doesn't count, okay? 1 times 2 equals to 2, but that doesn't count. 3 also cannot. 5, there's also, you cannot find any two numbers that multiply to become 5. Okay, notice that 9 is not in here. 9 is also a simple number, but it's not in here. Neither is 6, okay? Because 2 times 3 equals to 6, and 3 times 3 equals to 9. So numbers like this, right, 6 and 9, and for example 12, they are not prime numbers, right? 10 is also not prime numbers, okay? So these are prime numbers. So prime factorization is about breaking down numbers into prime numbers. Okay, so let me show you how it works. Like for example 15 can be broken down into 3 times 5. Okay, and it cannot go on anymore because 3 is already a prime number and 5 is also a prime number. Okay, so 40, how to break down 40? So 40 is a rather big number compared to 15. So first I can write down whatever I can remember. So I know that 40 is 4 times 10. Okay, so the way to do it is that you focus on which one number at every time and you try to break down that number. So let's focus on 4. 4 is 2 times 2, all right? And can we break down 2 anymore? Cannot, because 2 is a prime number. So you can see that actually when you break down the number in and you see prime numbers into it, right, means that that part cannot be broken down anymore. Right? So 2, now let's focus on 10 now. Can 10 be broken down? Answer is yes, 2 times 5. Okay, so the last step is to collapse the numbers, like collect them. Okay, so 2 times 2 times 2, we write it 2 power 3 and multiply by just a 5. So there you go, prime factorization for 15 and 40. Okay, now after we have got this, so what do? So we set up a table like this. Okay, we set up a table like this, and then we start to put boxes. Now, yes, this is the way to find the prime, the HCF, and also the LCM. So it's a good investment to learn these two things. So I'm going to write down all the numbers, all the prime numbers that ever appear in the two numbers. So 2 appeared, 3 appeared. Okay, we have 3 here. Okay, so and then both of them have 5. Yes, so definitely we're going to write down 5. Anything else? I don't see any other numbers. Okay, in case you're asking why, what about 1? Okay, there could be a 1, right? Okay, it cannot be 1. There is no need to write down when it comes to prime factorization and HCM and LCM, HCF and LCM. So okay, so what do? After you write down this table, all right, I'm just going to record everything. Like 15 is actually 3, so I'm going to write down 3 times 5. 40 is 2 power 3 and 5. Okay. Okay. Now the next step here is a bit counterintuitive. So it means that it confuse people because this is highest common factor. Okay. but we are going to take the lowest number in every column. So we are going to take the lowest number in every column, in each column. Okay, what do I mean by that? You look at here, between nothing and 2 power 3. Okay, we don't put nothing, okay, we just put 1 here, just to fill in the blanks. 1 and 1, okay? Between 1 and 2 power 3, what is the lower number? 1 and 2 to the power of 3, which is the lower number? All right, you may be thinking that, okay, it is 2 to the, oh, it's 1 is a lower number. Yes, you are right. 1 is a smaller number between these two. Okay, so now next comparison. The next column, because we want to write down the lowest in each column, right? So we go on to write down what is the lower between 3 and 1. The answer is again, it's 1. Okay, it's 1. Okay. So same thing for the third column, between 5 and 5. Now what is the lowest? It's 5. Yeah, it's 5. Okay, in case you can't really see it, okay, let me just put orange instead of yellow, right? It's 5. Okay, so the answer is taken by collecting these numbers. So 1 times 1 times 5, and that will be 5. Okay, that will be 5. So the answer is 5. All right, so that is the part A for this. Now, next we move on to find the LCM, and we are going to do exactly the same thing. We are going to do our prime factorization. Okay, so let's try to do our prime factorization for 8, okay, and 10 and 14 before we go on. Now 8 is 2 times 4, and it's also 2 times 2, and I can focus on breaking down this times 2. So this 4 becomes 2 times 2, right? And so we say we want to collapse the numbers, so we will have 2 power 3. All right. Okay, now next one we have 10. So what is 10? 10 is actually 2 times 5. So can we break this down any further? Now look at the list of your prime numbers. You have 2. Yes, 2 cannot be broken down anymore. And you have 5. Oh, 5, that means 5 cannot be broken down anymore. So that is the end. All right, so I'm going to just erase this guy. So prime factorization of 10 is 2 times 5. All right, next we move on to 14. 14 is 2 times 7. Okay, now 2, by now we already know 2 is a prime number, so it's a dead end. Don't need to touch anymore. 7, how about 7? Now let's check our list of prime numbers. 7, oh, 7 is here. So there is no need to touch 7 anymore. Right? So this is the prime factorization for 8, 10, and 14. Right? So 8 is 2 to the power of 3. 10 is 2 to the power of 5, 14 is 2 to the power of 7. Okay, so what's next? Next, we will we'll just work out the table. Right, the table. This time around, our table needs to be a little bit smaller because we have 3 numbers. Okay, and then the columns. The columns, okay, we need to prepare the columns for all the prime numbers that ever appeared in our prime factorization. Okay, so now we have 8, 10, 14. Okay, and we want to put in the numbers here. So it's 2. Okay, we see a lot of 2s, and we see 5. Okay, and then we also see 7. Okay, there is nothing else. Okay, I don't see anything else. Okay, so now, now the interesting thing is this. LCM means lowest common multiple. LCM, right? Okay, So LCM, now we have, okay, sorry, got interrupted. Now, okay, let's come back to this. Right, so we have 8. Okay, so we just populated this table. Populated means that we fill in the table, right? So now we have 8 is 2 to the power of 3, all right? So we just write 2 to the power of 3, okay? And nothing else. So we just put 1 and 1. Now for 10, it's 2 and 5, 2 times 5. So I'm going to put down 2 here. I'm going to put down 5 here. And there is no 7, so I will just put a 1 here. For 14, okay, 14, there is a 2 times a 7. So what do we do with this blank? Just put a 1, okay? Yeah, so that's how you treat blanks in the tables. All right, so now, just now we talked about LCM being the lowest common multiple. Here comes the confusing thing. To find the lowest common multiple, the LCM, okay, we are supposed to find the highest. Find the highest number in each column. In each column. Okay, so that is what we are supposed to do. So for LCM, we find the highest number in each column. So I'm going to show you how it works. So how does it work is that you see that, okay, let's find the color, okay, blue, sorry, light blue. For the first column, what is the highest number? The first column, we are looking at this guy, okay? What is the biggest number, highest number? The biggest number that I can see is actually 2 to the power of 3. So I'm just going to write that down, 2 to the power of 3. Okay, now the second column, what is the biggest number? The biggest number is actually 5. Wouldn't you agree? The other numbers are 1 and 1, so the biggest number is just 5. So between 1, 5, and 1, the biggest number is just 5. Okay, so these are the headings, okay? These 2, 5, and 7, these are the names of the columns. These are not the numbers that we are dealing with. So just pay attention to 1, 5, and 1. So it is actually a 5 here. The highest number is a 5. Okay, now the third column, 1 and 1 and 7. Okay, so that one is the biggest number will be the 7. Okay, so once you have done that, so again we do the same steps. We multiply the numbers together, and that will give us the LCM. So 2 to the power of 3, okay, if you like it, is actually 8 times 5 times 7. So it is 280 if you use your calculator to calculate. Right, so the answer will be 280. That is the LCM of 8 times 10 times and 14. Right, so that means, what is the meaning of that? The LCM means that these are the smallest number that you can that is the multiple of both 8 and 10 and 14. Okay, the smallest number that is the multiple of 8 and 10 and 14. Okay, so pretty long questions. I will stop here.